Hey, what's up guys? Dustin here, ATEM Off-Road. Thanks for stopping by and checking out today's video. I hope everyone's having a good day. So we're going to be doing a fluid exchange on the Jeep Wrangler JKU. This is a 2015. It's got the NAG1 automatic transmission. And I'm going to be replacing the oil pan when we do the pan flush. We're going to be doing oil filter, gaskets, and a new fluid pan. And the reason why we're doing the DOORMAN oil pan here is because it has a drain plug, and by the end of the video you'll see why that drain plug is everything and why I wanted to share this video with you. So let's get to work. To gain access and remove the transmission oil pan on this Jeep is going to be pretty simple. There's a cross member with 3 bolts. Use an 18mm socket, just buzz those off, and you can remove the cross member from the Jeep and just set it aside. Now there's also 3 nuts in the main cross member that supports the transmission and transfer case. We'll go ahead and just take a 16mm socket or 5/8 and loosen up the nuts all the way to the ends of the threads. What I like to do is to take a bottle jack and just kind of jack it up, not all the way, but just enough to where we can gain access to get that oil pan removed. Here you'll see a lot more clearance for the removal of the pan. The back 2 bolts, I don't know why Jeep did this, but they're buried back there. And with that clearance, you can get a wrench in there. I'm using a T27 hand wrench, and we'll just remove those 2 bolts in the back. The other 4 we can get to with a nut driver. And I want to just remove the 2 in the back. That way we can kind of focus the fluid off to the corner of the pan, and that way we can start the draining process. So with the back 2 removed, I'm going to go ahead and loosen up these, and we should start getting some draining. See, we're starting to drain out right here. We want to kind of control the dripping as much as we can. And I've also got some cardboard right here so no fluid gets on my floor here. So I'm going to let this kind of drain for a little bit, and we'll go ahead and go from there. This is where having a drain plug is going to make a lot of sense now, so we're not making a big mess. We can capture all of the fluid into a measuring cup so we know exactly what comes out of here, and there's no guesswork. So I'm going to have to end up doing some guesswork. You can see some of the fluid here is not getting in the pans. All right, so I'm going to start taking off these 2 bolts here. Hopefully I don't make too much of a mess. I'm going to kind of hold the pan up so it's not dripping as much. All right, so I've got one last bolt here. I'm going to go ahead and remove that all the way. All right, so I just freed the pan from the exhaust here. Go ahead and continue to pull this out. And I'm going to go ahead and pour the rest of the fluid right into the pan. All right, so now I'm going to clean up everything. I'm going to let this continue to drip out of the transmission. We'll go ahead and pull out the filter here. This just comes straight out. And then I'm just going to let this hang out for about 10-20 minutes and just clean up this entire mess. It's pretty bad. So I've got the old and the new pan side by side. Here we have all of the hardware. We're going to clean those up with some solvent. We're not going to reuse the filter or the gasket. Like I said, I have that right here in this kit. And I did want to share with you all of this wear on the magnet. This is the magnet, and you can see lots of wear there. So we will be probably end up just saving this as a backup pan, but we do have a new magnet on the new oil pan. That's where the plug is, so you can just go ahead and install the gasket right over the new pan. All right, so pan gasket is on. So our pan and filter is ready for install. I'm going to go ahead and clean up the hardware real quick, and I'll meet you back under the Jeep. So there's a tab on the bottom here, and then the inlet tube. You're going to go ahead and just set the inlet tube straight in there and make sure the tab is seated into the cast. Just go ahead and push it straight in. So I'm happy with the way the filter is seating, and then we'll go ahead and set our pan in the same way we took it out. So I'm just gonna slide it in up over this exhaust piece here. Okay, so we're going to torque these bolts in a crisscross pattern, starting with the front and then to the back and then in the middle. And we're gonna torque those to 7 foot-pounds, or about 71 inch-pounds. And then I'm gonna finish cleaning all this up, and then I'll show you where the drain plug is. It actually sits right here in between the cross member and the exhaust. All right, everybody, we are back at it. Fast forward about a week later, working on the Jeep. That first initial pan flush was about 4.5 quarts that we dropped out, and we're going to be doing another 4.5 quarts. So once I got the pan torqued up to the transmission, I was able to just drop the transmission down, the mount onto the cross member, get that torqued down, install the other cross member, and I dropped in about 4.5 quarts. So I'm going to be doing a total of 9 quarts for the flush. I'm going to get back under there. We're going to pull that pan plug out, watch how it drains, and just see if it's even worth it. So let's get over there and under the Jeep and drop out 4.5 more quarts. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the drain plug using a 5mm Allen wrench. There it is. It just broke free. All right, so there's the fluid. It's coming out right now. So after pulling the plug, the drip is kind of doing what I expected it to do, kind of dripping around the exhaust tube there and falling into the measuring cup. And that's not too bad, except when we are about 4 quarts dropped out, the fluid stream kind of sticks to the pan and runs along the back side, and then it starts dripping along the transmission cross member, and it just starts making a mess at that point. But most of it is in the measuring cup, which is an improvement, but not the best. It's just a bummer that they couldn't move the drain plug down further, about 1.5 inches, so it's between the cross member and the exhaust tube. So on the second go, we ended up dropping about 4 quarts altogether, just under 4 in the measuring cup, and then probably 1/2 in the pan. Now I'm going to be dropping in the new fluid. So this is what I bought here. This is a 6-pack of ATF4. It's Mopar, so out with the old, in with the new, and it's the same. So if you end up buying 2 cases, which is 12 quarts altogether, you'll still have enough to service your transfer case if you end up buying these. I think I paid like $45 for this on Amazon. I'll leave all the links in the description box to the pan, gaskets, filters, all the fluid that I used in this video. I got it all off Amazon, so that makes it pretty simple. I put the plug back in on the drain pan, and we are ready to drop in our 4 quarts. Start it up. And then what we're going to do is cycle the gears, so we can get that transmission fluid cycled in, and we can get an accurate reading of how much fluid is inside the transmission. So I'm just going to go all the way to drive, neutral, reverse, park, reverse, neutral, drive. Do this a few times, and then park the vehicle on level ground, and then leave it in neutral to check the fluid. So this is what my old fluid is looking like. So it's a lot darker than the new stuff. You guys just saw the new stuff going in. And I just recycle this at my local auto parts store. So overall, I was able to drop out 9 quarts of old fluid and exchange it with 9 quarts of new fluid. Now, if you buy the 2 cases, it comes with 12 quarts, so you'll have a couple left over. I think right now is a good time to service the transfer case, and then you'll end up using all of the quarts doing that. It's only about 2.2 quarts in capacity. Now, as far as the oil pan itself, I was too impressed how the fluid was dropping out and draining from the transmission. It did seal up to the transmission really good, didn't have any problems with that, and it being half the price as an OE fix, I do think it's a good recommendation and upgrade for this transmission, other than you will still somewhat have a mess at the end of the day when you go to drop out the fluid. But it gives you that opportunity to flush and cycle out as much fluid as you want, whereas the OE still doesn't have a drain plug, and I don't really see of any other options out there on the market today. So with that, we're going to end the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any comments or questions, leave those in the comment box below, and I will answer as much as I can. All the parts will be in the description box below listed, and we will see you guys in the next video. Have a good day. We'll see you soon.